Hi everybody, it's Christina. Welcome back to another Stampin' 101 video. Today we're going to be talking about Stampin' Up's blender pens. These are great pens. They work fabulously with the Stampin' Up Classic ink pads. So if you're new to Stampin' Up ink pads, if you've joined my ink pad club, this is a great way to get more out of your ink pads. And they're also great for using with the Stampin' Write marker, so I'll show you how to use that too. And you want to use watercolor paper. I'm using some older Stampin' Up watercolor paper, but they still have it, and you can buy it in bigger sheets now. When I bought it, it was this size. And then your blender pens come in a package of 3. I have had these from when I was first a demonstrator, and they're still good. They still work perfectly. I'm got one pen I gave away, and then the other ones I kept for myself. And I'm going to show you now how to blend with your ink pads and your Stampin' Write markers. So first thing you want to use is StazOn ink. StazOn ink won't bleed when you're doing the blending, so you want to use that. And I'm going to use this stamp set here called Perfect Blend. I love this sentiment. It says, given enough coffee, I can rule the world temporarily. And I'm going to use that little coffee cup there. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my pen here, or my coffee cup here. And I'm going to stamp this out twice because I'm going to show you how to do it with the Stampin' Write markers and also with the classic ink pads. So there you go. I'm going to put this little lid back on so my ink pad doesn't dry up there. And you don't want to use your black classic ink pad because that will, the color will run. So I did a little sample here because that's what you're using to do our coloring is our classic ink pad. So you want to definitely use the StazOn ink. I'm going to start off with some crumb cake ink. And you can see there's a little bit pile of ink right on the top of my lid. What you do is you close it up and you squeeze your ink pad, and that will actually get your ink right onto the top of your ink pad there. So we're going to use that kind of as our little painting palette. I'm going to take my blender pen, and you want a piece of scrap paper out so that we can clean our pen off as we're going. So I'm just going to set that right there. And what we're going to do is, these are dual tip, it doesn't matter which end, they're both the same that you use. And you can see this one I've used on other colors, so even though there's a little bit of color on there, when I color it onto my paper it comes out clear. So what I'm going to do is I want to start off kind of dark, so I'm just going to go straight to the darkest part of my ink here. And I'm going to start on the sides because I want to do a little bit of shading. So as I blend in towards the center, the color kind of runs a little softer looking. So I'm going to do that on both sides, and we're going to move our color in, and as you move in the color gets a little lighter. So I'm going to do that on the bottom down here of my cup. So I'm just picking up the darkest part of the ink and moving in towards the center. And what's really nice is you want to add more color, you want it to be a little bit darker, you can go ahead and go right back and do that just by adding more color right on top, so it's buildable. So there's that part. And now I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to clean it off onto a piece of scrap paper. So you can see, just keep running it on here until it runs clear. And then I could start picking up another color. So I'm going to close this ink pad up. I'm going to take out Sahara Sand, which is a nice soft shade, and I'm going to squeeze my pad to get the ink onto the top of my lid. Now with this one, I want it to be a little lighter. I don't want it to be the intense, the dark Sahara Sand. So what I'm going to do is pick up a little bit and then come out here and kind of blend it out a little bit so it's not as dark. I'm going to start at the side again and working my way towards the center as the color kind of wears off my pen. So picking up a little bit, blending it a little bit more on my ink pad, and then coming from the sides and working my way in so I get my softer look in the center. And again, you can add more color to darken up the edges. So if you're like me and you're not the best with the Copic markers and you don't want to go out and invest more money in something that all you have to do is just buy these pens, you can use your ink pads that you have and do your own coloring, this is so much fun. I've been playing with this on and off all day, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm just doing the top part of my lid here. I want it to be darker on the sides and lighter towards the center. So as the sun is kind of hitting towards the center, plus it has that little bit of a curve there for you. You know, if you're kind of makes it look like it's the round cup. All right, so that's how I blend with my ink pads. Now to do it with your Stampin' Up markers, so I have my set of markers here, and I'm going to make this one very colorful. So I'm going to start off with this blue on the top. I'm going to use the brush tip end of this, and I'm going to go right to the paper on it. So this is one thing that's really nice about using watercolor paper. You can blend it right from here. I'm going to take my blender pen and just start pulling the color out. This is a very strong color. Put a little bit more on this side. And then we'll start blending that color out there. So there we go. So that's how you do it right from the paper with the marker. The other thing you could do is, if you want a little bit of a softer look and you don't want it as intense, take an acrylic block, take your ink, or your marker rather, take the brush tip, and color it right onto your block. A little squeaky, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in using the green here, again going from the side, so it kind of gives a little bit of a softer look, and on the bottom part I'll do it so you can see what it's like with the full intense marker. So that's what it's like when you're just blending from the acrylic block. Now I'm going to take the marker itself just to kind of show you the difference, and we're going to go right onto our watercolor paper with the marker, and then we'll blend it out from there. So you can see the color's a little bit darker. It's not a ton darker, but with this technique you can use as much or as little ink as you want. Okay, we're going to do the center part. Let's do it this pink color. Turn my block around, and using the brush tip I'm going to color it onto my acrylic block. Forgot to clean off my marker, so again just rubbing it on a piece of scrap paper there. Picking it up and then going right to the paper. So if you don't have all of the markers or all of the ink pads, between the two different things you'll be able to have a great collection of different colors that you can use. And like I said, the colors are buildable, so you can add more color and do your own shading and stuff like that. So that is how to use the blender pen. I'll be back later on this week and show you how a card I put together using this colored image right here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll leave a link to all the supplies I used in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.